This episode of Minor Obsession is brought to you by the UNC Charlotte Belk College of Business, North Carolina's urban research business school. As alumni of the Belk College ourselves, we encourage you to visit belkcollege.uncc.edu and learn how Charlotte's Business School can inspire your career path.
Hello, friends. Welcome to another edition of Minor Obsession. Scott Lieberman with Sean Newton. And it's a good time to be a women's basketball fan, and not quite as good to be a men's basketball fan, but we're hoping for some good stuff to come. Still good. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's still good. It's still a lot better than it has been the last 5 years or so.
Five. Being pretty generous there.
I mean, we had, what was it, 20-win season in the major era?
Yeah, it didn't feel the same.
That's fair.
Didn't feel as good.
But women's basketball, 3-game winning streak. Got that Kara Sierra bump, you know. I think the energy around that has really gotten the women going on the court. They're trying to show up everyone.
You and that one-on-one match, you will not stop talking about that. Every time we're talking women's basketball, you're like, I wonder who's played yet. Yeah, for sure, 3-win streak, huge, exciting matches. They had the women take down FIU, then a huge defensive stand against Louisiana Tech, held them to 37 points while putting up 55 of our own. And then started off February with a big win over Southern Miss. Had a lead the entire time, let them crawl back a little bit, but were able to finish strong and close the door there. So anytime you get 3 wins in a row in conference play, that's awesome. Sitting in 6th currently in the conference at 5-4. Still got Rice at the top of the conference undefeated currently. ODU, Middle Tennessee State, UAB, and Western Kentucky are the other ones ahead of us. And a few of those teams are coming up to finish out the season. So got a tough stretch of games coming up. On the road this week against UTEP, UTSA, and then back home against North Texas and Rice. So good little stretch of games to see how the women are going to close out the season to start with and get midway through February and start to see how standings are shaking out headed into tournament play.
Yeah, well, and the game this Thursday works out really well. 9 o'clock tip. Men are at home at 7 o'clock, so you can get home and watch the game. The reason why you can watch the game is on ESPN+. So we know not a lot of women's games are on ESPN+, but we got 2 big ones coming up here at UTEP Thursday night, and then the following Saturday, the Saturday of Valentine's Day. So I guess a week from this Saturday against North Texas, or against Rice, who you were mentioning is the number 1 team in the conference. Hopefully you're not going to be watching that on streaming, though, because you can come to Halton Arena and support the women in person.
Yeah, what better way to spend your Valentine's weekend than watching Charlotte knock off the number 1 team in Conference USA? It's a exciting time there and exciting to have some games on ESPN+. I know I always turn them on when I can. I appreciate that Conference USA offers online streaming for a lot of sports. For a cost, obviously, but it's just a lot more enjoyable to be able to just sit down in front of your TV, turn on your Apple TV, and boom, you got it up, ready to go, and it's nice and good color. I'm excited for those 2.
Yeah, can't beat it. $4.99 a month. So ESPN
Plus,
we appreciate the sponsorship of Minor Obsession.
But anyways, the women are really rolling, hitting a stride. You know, had a slower start to 2020 than they wanted, but as of late, seems like they're looking good and set to close out the season strong. Let's hope they're sitting in the top few seeds as we move into tournament play here in a few weeks.
For sure. Definitely looks like a 20-win season is highly possible and likely, especially with conference play added to it, or the conference tournament, and hopefully those wins that I've been guaranteeing. So, yeah, I look for over 20 wins, a strong showing in the conference tournament, even potentially a win, and and hopefully an NCAA bid. If not, I definitely think the WNIT is in our future, just like last year, for sure. That's a lock. It's a guarantee.
Yeah, the good part is, well, the good and the bad part, we don't play a ton of the teams above us. I mean, we have Rice and ODU coming up, who are the top two teams. But other than that, quite a few of the teams that are around us have already gone by. So it's harder to catch individuals ahead of you when you don't get to play them and get that double win, you win, they lose mentality going on. But still, if you take care of business, get your wins, hope the other team loses, you could be looking at a very pretty picture come a few weeks from now.
Absolutely. So be on the lookout. I think over the next few weeks, I've been on the Jade Phillips train, but I think Mariah Lenny is really starting to come into her own. I think she's going to be the key to us winning and continuing to win more than even Jade at this point.
That's fair. Jade had a huge game. I'm surprised you didn't bring it up because you're always so high on the Jade train against Southern Miss.
You made me feel bad. I'm trying to change it up a little bit.
That's fair. Well, that means I can glob on a little bit, right? Here's what I really appreciate about our stat line against Southern Miss. 5 steals. That's really
pretty
nice.
Impressive, yeah.
18 points to go along with the 5 steals, 1 block, and 4 rebounds. So looking good. But it's been real total team efforts that we've seen from the women's to get to these this 3-win streak.
Yeah, they're definitely coming into their own, getting more comfortable. But yeah, I think Mariah Lenny is a key. We won this game, but she went 3 for 13. Can you imagine if she went 6 for 12, a little bit more production there, and then it's a nice big blowout, not just a 4-point win. So I think she's the key. I think Jade's kind of your consistent. She's always going to be there.
Yep. So moving on to the men, as you mentioned, I think you put it not so great recently, but 2 tough road losses, I should say, road wins for the team we don't want to win against Louisiana Tech and Southern Miss over the past week. Louisiana Tech really put a hurt into us, 72-59, and it was a close game the whole time. Louisiana Tech was really making it difficult. 13 for 22 from the three-point line, shooting 60%. That's really tough to keep up with. But we held our own for most of the game. For Southern Miss, that's a team you really wish you could knock off and take a win there because they're at the bottom of the conference. But Southern Miss at home put up a real strong battle and really gave us a little bit more than we could handle. We're able to send it to overtime thanks to a big three-pointer from Drew Edwards closing out the final minute of the game. And we were even down by 9 with 2 minutes left to go. So I was really impressed with our battle. We've seen a lot of close losses this year, which is really great, fun to be a part of, and fun to be in the game the entire time. But
what are you talking about? Fun to be a part of close losses? Get out of here.
It's
really fun to be a part of that. Like, no, it's not fun.
It's fun to be a part of close games.
Well, you preference close losses, which it's not fun at all. Yeah, it's fun that we're playing better. I mean, we've already almost doubled our win total over the last 4 years. And we're in double-digit wins. We're going to make the conference tournament, it looks like. Only 2 teams don't make it, and we were one of those 2 teams last year. And with the bonus play, I'd like us to be in the top 4 and get to play some of these really good teams, and we're right at the cusp of that. But worst case scenario, as long as we don't completely fall apart over the next few weeks, we should at least be in the middle of the pack and not be in the bottom like we were last year for the first session of bonus play. So all of that is great. And I think the key to remember is basketball is a game of runs. Just like in the game where you could be up by 15 and then be down by 10, these teams go on runs, and I think it's the same with the actual schedule and wins, right? You just kind of go on runs. We've had an unbelievable run at home, and our away run isn't quite as good. I thought our defense would be able to travel a little bit better. Not quite as much as I expected, but we'll see how it goes. We got 2 games in Halton this week. Hopefully we can continue to defend home court and get to 12-1 at home, which is unbelievable when you think about how we've played over the last couple of years and how Halton has been, and suddenly we're just a home phenomenon, which is great. So not bad teams coming in, but definitely not the top tier either. I mean, UTEP's kind of in the conversation with us, but besides that, we should hopefully get some wins this week.
Yeah, and closing out going into bonus play, you've got a pretty good setup. I mean, we've got 4 games left, one against the top team in the conference, the other 3 very winnable. You close out 3-1, hope some of the other teams can't quite take advantage of the schedule they have, and hopefully, like you said, stick in that top quadrant. I mean, right now we're flirting with being in the 4th spot there, technically tied for 4th and coming out not in our favor currently, but a lot of basketball left to play against these 4 games, and a lot of opportunity to be in that top 4, and at worst case scenario, I think end up in the middle of the pack, which is good news. It gets us, that's a big step forward for the season.
For sure. And I mean, we talked about this a week or 2 ago about the next 3 games being huge with FIU, FAU, and Louisiana Tech. We said if we go 3-0, we're incredible. If we can defend home court, that's great. If we go 1-2, we're still okay. If we go 0-3, then we're not quite what we thought we were. We went 2-1. We defended home court. We had a very spirited game against Florida Atlantic, and then FIU, we dominated. Unfortunately, Louisiana Tech kind of got the best of us. We were in it in the first half and then kind of lost it towards the last couple of minutes. And then, to your point with Southern Miss, that's a game that, that's the one you look at and you're like, ugh, that's one we should have had.
Yeah,
but
it hurts.
But we kept fighting. We went to overtime, and then, the refs kind of took over to some degree. Again, we shouldn't let the refs decide the games. We should just win the games, but...
Yeah, and I mean, that's one where, we talked to Sanchez a couple weeks ago, and he mentioned how difficult in this conference it is having that Thursday-Saturday schedule all the time where you're traveling between 2 places. You have to go from Louisiana over to Mississippi with a day of rest and a day to prepare for a team. And he used the exact words, a team can come in and steal one. He was given other teams in Conference USA a lot of credit and saying we're the ones stealing them, but I think in this specific scenario, USM got away with one. They're not a great basketball school this year, and really got away with one. And like you said, overtime, very disappointing. 2 possessions stole from us that really decided the game in my mind, and at least made it less exciting. I mean, Southern Miss wins in the end, so be it. But having the ball taken out of your hands twice by the refs and not being able to get those 2 possessions really hurt.
Yeah, and I mean, traveling's hard, don't get me wrong, but I think they went through their toughest travel opportunity already with the 5 games in 9 days, with the special MLK Day game, being on the road before that, then doing some games at home against top conference opponents like FIU and FAU. So, I mean, this was somewhat of a breeze.
Yeah, no doubt, but you're getting later in the season. You've got your freshman phenom, Jameer Young, who's been there for, just this first season. And so you're getting later in the year. He's learning how to travel, and then he comes off with a game where he's not shooting great, like Southern Miss. And, other members of the team have to be able to step up when things like that happen. And, again, we held our own, but definitely should have come away with a win on that one.
Well, remember to try to come out to Halton Arena to see your 10-1 at home men's basketball team this Thursday against UTEP, and then Saturday against UTSA. 2 winnable games. Hopefully go to 12-1 at home after that. And then the following week is the big week, right? At North Texas, a Thursday night game. ESPN3, which means you don't even need ESPN Plus. That means it's a premier game you could just stream. That's a big one. That's going to be a real test for us. If we can stay competitive in that game, win the game would be amazing. But on the road against the best team in the conference, that's a lot to ask for. But if we could stay competitive, cover whatever the spread is, because Vegas is normally right, I'd be really intrigued by that. But hopefully we get these 2 wins, get up to 14 wins for the season, and flirt with that original over-under of 15 that we've all thought about. And I think we're looking like we're on track with that.
I feel pretty good about the 15.
Yeah.
I'm ready to call that one now. I'll get egg on my face if I have to, but I'm pretty sure that one's a lock.
Yeah. Well, we shall see.
So, we talked about basketball. Another big sport still in that we talked about last week, tennis. Men's team and women's team looking pretty good right now. Men's tennis 4-3 overall. They just had a big win over Clemson.
Henry
over the
Lieberman,
weekend.
let's go!
You and your brother from another mother, Henry Lieberman, doing big things there. 4-3 win, tight battle. Gotta love it when you're battling on the doubles point and then going strong into the singles. That really takes a big team effort to be able to win a 4-3 like that. And got some good games coming up at home. They're going to be at Lifetime Fitness again at the Onyx Premier Club like we talked about in the past. February 9th, that's a Sunday, versus Princeton at 11 a.m. And February 16th, another Sunday, versus Furman at 2 p.m. So a couple good home matches if you're around the South Charlotte area and want to try and get out. Good ones to see. Men definitely doing big things, and we're looking to see how this shakes out as we move into further into the season and then into conference play.
Yeah. Only other thing is our men's track and field, they broke a program record, 4x400. So pretty exciting stuff there. I feel like our men's track and field is always awesome. We seem to just continue to win everything, whether it's throwing, whether it's running 4x4, whether it's long distance, short distance, high jump. We're doing it all. We're always very competitive and always winning titles, it seems like. So starting off strong with that as well. And, Nico Menzel finished 11th in the 200-meter. He ran a 21.87, top 10 rank in Conference USA.
You just jumped all over my women's tennis talk here that I was getting ready to dive into with your track and field, but that works. We'll divide up men's tennis and women's tennis with some track and field in between.
Sorry, they're all good. I apologize to friend of the podcast, Anthony Davison.
That's okay. You're saving the best for last, right? You throw in some track in there. Now we get to talk about women's tennis. 5-2 currently, doing a little bit better than the men. Had a big week last week where they knocked off Coastal Carolina 5-2, UNC Greensboro 5-2, doing big things. Currently traveling on a tough away schedule. They've got they've got quite a few matches in a row here that are away. Coming up, though, Charleston Southern and College of Charleston, and then North Carolina Central. So keep an eye on the women's team. Starting off the season strong with 5-2. Looking forward to seeing what they can do as we move into the middle season as well.
Any battles in the household with College of Charleston on the schedule? Is your wife really into that? She fighting you over that? Sleep on the couch if Charlotte wins? Nothing that serious?
It's February 9th on a Sunday, so we might drive down to Charleston and watch Charlotte take on Charleston in women's tennis. We'll see. I'm going to talk trash to her for sure. I'm going to do some big trash talking beforehand, so no pressure, Anthony and team. But it's at noon. I'll be following, and then I could be sleeping on the couch depending on how much trash talking I do throughout the day.
Awesome stuff. Cool. Well, sports are looking good. Hopefully you're still enjoying the pod. Remember to follow us on social media. We're on everything. Email us, minorobsession49@gmail.com. Go to the website, minorobsession.net.
Should we tease real quick for the fans?
Sure, go for it.
I feel like we should tease real quick. So, exciting news coming down the way. We can't give you any details now. Can't really spill the beans just yet, but we're currently working with a local artist. Some of you may know who he is. He was big in the NASCAR world, has done some stuff for Charlotte in the past, and is a big Charlotte fan himself. Currently working with him to try and see if we can get some cool stuff headed your way. So I think we're going to have some really cool custom Charlotte memorabilia to give away as part of contests in the future. So stay tuned over the next few weeks. I think we're going to have some really I'll say it, some really sexy stuff. I've seen some
Yeah.
pictures of the things he's working on, and I don't even want to give it.
I don't know who this
I wanna just
person
keep it.
is, but I heard his name rhymes with chorus.
So keep your eye out. We'll definitely share some news when we can, and we're excited for the partnership to come, and we hope that brings y'all some really cool stuff along the way.
Absolutely. Well, with all that said, and with all the new things being created that are hopefully also going to be green, remember to wear green.
And go Niners.